So here we are, very feeling so full of energy based on the first two episodes that we were able to record. It was, I don't know about you, Eddie, but I'm still feeling like like my storage is full for some reason. I don't know.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Those were some impactful guests. Honestly, I didn't think that. Like, I knew what they did, but once you get to sit down with them and really let them unpack what they really do and how they really feel, it just made it for a completely different experience. Like, now I feel closer to Yuri, closer to Jeff. Like, I really do. I feel like if I would see him in the room, like, I'd have to go over there and say hi, that type of connection. And I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better from these two episodes. Like, I really couldn't. Like, I feel like it was supposed to be for the community, but in some selfish way, it's giving me so much already.
That's very well said. I feel pretty much the same way. With episode 1, I mean, let's start breaking it down a little bit. Yuri Williams, my goodness, Yuri. A future superhero, a present superhero. I mean, was on his way to Mississippi just a couple of days ago. He's there now.
Yeah, he's there now. He's 100% there. I don't know who he's giving something to, but he's doing something. And the weather is not great over there.
No.
You know it. Who goes to Mississippi for vacations? No one. So he's not out there for that. He's out there for business. And to him, business is bringing smiles to a kid in need.
Yeah, right? Definitely. And I'm very appreciative of Yuri Williams. He was willing to come on the podcast. One of the things that really stood out to me was he was at first, when he first came in, he looked a little hesitant, a little nervous. I think we all were nervous, definitely. Right? We wanted to do a good job by him. But yet he still put himself out there. He's not one that likes the type of marketing or spotlight that we were trying to put on him, only to be able to bring awareness to the things that he's doing and help, do some fundraising for him. But yet he still, came in, he opened himself up quite a bit. He was very transparent with his motives. I mean, his mom, boy, did his mom raise him right, huh?
Yeah, man. He really did. That was cool that he shared a little bit about that. And he was just, I guess I would use the word vulnerable. Like, he put himself out there like, dude, it's tough. Like, when he was talking about the fundraising and about people getting voting for him and certain things, he was frustrated. You can feel it. Like, I'm like, damn, this is like, I didn't, you never think of things like this, but to him, it's just because he's putting so much of himself and he puts his money where his mouth is. And then all he asks for is just a little participation. And it's so hard. People just don't want to do it, man.
Well, it's, I think that that hesitance to, give somebody money is because you don't know where it's going, right?
Right.
I'm sure there's been so many cases of people defrauding people out of money, or maybe giving to a cause that very little of the money goes to what initially you wanted it to go to. But that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring Yuri on, because Yuri and his organization really we've been eyewitnesses. Now we're sharing his story, but Yuri checks out.
Yeah, he does, man. Who else is out there to Skid Row dressed as Deadpool? Like, dude, that's dangerous just by just saying it. And he goes and he does it year after year. It's like, dude, what?
I mean, he gets pretty frustrated, I think, too, because he doesn't like to ask for people's assistance or support, right? I mean, who does?
Yeah.
None of us do. But he's putting himself out there, and he understands that this is bigger than what he can do. So he needs all that support. And we're so grateful to every one of those supporters that has given Yuri the necessary, whether it's toys, whether it's backpacks, whatever it took for that particular endeavor or occasion that he was trying to create to help the community. The support just came in one way or another from one source or another source. So we're so grateful to that. And, we're also very grateful for all the support we've gotten for that particular episode. There was a lot of shares, a lot of likes, a lot of comments on that YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing to. One of the comments, I think we talked, one of the comments that really got to me was King's mom when she reached out,
Yeah, that was so cool. Like I wasn't expecting that to happen, like you put content out there and hopes that it'll impact somebody or it'll make a difference, and then we put that out there and she made a comment and I just started dialoguing with her, direct message, and then she was just telling me about her whole experience as a parent. Like, wow, like it can't be realer than this. Like, it's so significant. Like what he does is so significant to this kids and the family, because the family gets to see the kid in a state that it's rare to see. The kid's just elated, so happy. And meanwhile, they've gone through so much heartache, right? So much sickness. And then Yuri comes in full on costume, walking in there like a straight superhero. The kid doesn't know any different. The kid doesn't know that this isn't the real Deadpool. Like to the kid, it's like, my God, Deadpool is here. And he's here giving me gifts. It's like they're never gonna forget that act.
No, definitely. Yuri's making some serious impressions on those kids' lives, even if that is a short time for them, because of their condition.
Yeah.
So that whatever time is left, for Yuri to be aware and just be so in tune to be able to make those moments the best moments possible and have a contribution to those moments. I mean, that's something that you could tell what moves him, what drives him, because those moments mean everything to him, because he recognizes that they mean a lot to these kids and their parents, their family, that community. It's not just him visiting that family or that particular child, but the community gets to know what's happening.
Yeah.
They, all the hospital workers see what's happening. They are all witnesses of it. So they're able to see, the smile on that young man or young girl's face that Yuri brought because of a kind act, maybe a toy. It's not even the toy in itself. It's the fact that somebody took the time to really go to that bedside and say, hey, I love you. I care about you. You're important to me enough that I brought something for you.
Yeah. And then after that, I remember I asked him about when the kids die, right? Like, how does he deal with that? Like, he's carrying that. How many kids do you think he's gone and visited that have passed away? And he just has to carry that. He said that he does this also because he wants to keep their name alive. It's like, what a responsibility. Like, he just took that on. Like, who does that?
Yeah, you can see that his mother, as he brought up in the episode, made such an impact on him. He didn't just tell him, be a better person, help others, do good, try to do the right thing always, right? Those weren't some of the things that she just said to him, but she actually went and did them. Yeah. He saw that. He saw the impact that she was having on the youth, right? Exactly. Being a correctional officer.
Yeah. And that's what he's doing. It influenced him that much. It's his career. It's what he does for a passion. Like, literally, that lady had all the influence on Yuri. Yeah. And it's crazy to think, like after death, you still, like, that's truly carrying on a legacy, right? The person is dead and her acts influenced Yuri to be who he is today. It's like, man.
Definitely. I think that's, one of the ways that he continues that legacy, as he mentioned, was important to him to continue. And, that connection.
Yeah.
They're still connected in that sense.
And, we need to support people like that.
Absolutely.
Like, stop playing. Like, stop this. Like, everybody has interests, different interests. Completely understand that. But when people are like this, when people are genuinely going out of their way to do good deeds, we got to support them. It just makes no sense that we don't. It makes no sense. We need to, like, stand together and just do it, man. Like, nobody's got to tell you. I don't have to tell you. Nobody's got to tell you. Just do what's right. And you know what's right. If the guy posted something, the least you can do is reshare it. Like, get somebody else, and maybe you don't have money at this moment, share it. So maybe somebody in your group or your followers, maybe they can contribute. Like, let's do an act. Like, we can all be a little piece. We could all be more united and we can make an actual difference, right? Because we're doing nothing independently. Like, honestly, dude, if we hear, why are we so like amazed by that this guy even exists? It's because we don't even know people like this. We don't even know people like this. Go look at your whole contact list. You don't know not one person like this. You just got introduced to, like, these are real stars. These are real stars, dude. Seriously, these are real stars. Like, but
definitely.
I think it's the physical action point of it. You know what I mean? Like we see superheroes on movies and stuff like that, but easily you could go on YouTube, see the behind the scenes, and you see that that's not a real person or whatever. And like, or Santa Claus, Easter bunnies, like all of those things have started to fizzle out in like a child's psychology, technology, all this stuff. So when you see a real superhero physically show up to your room, your hospital bed, or whatever it be, right? And like I know people will sit around thinking like, that's nice, but not everyone has the time or the calories, and we got lives and we don't have the time to do all that. Well, you do have time to support a real one. And so we just trying to emphasize that.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think everybody could get behind it. Yeah. This isn't about talking to anybody, looking down on nobody. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Like, that's it. Click on the link.
So yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? Because sometimes we maybe perhaps get distracted from day-to-day life. We're all guilty of it. We spend our money on different things that maybe brings us instant gratification. Maybe we need something new to wear, and we go and get it.
Yeah.
There's effort behind that. We have to go to the store. I mean, personally, I like to go and buy things if I'm going to wear it. But here, Yuri's made it so easy for us. He's done all the legwork. If we can support, and he mentioned that it's not always monetary. The support doesn't come from monetary. If he has an event, if you're able to go and maybe hand out some backpacks or hand out whatever he's given, he does so many different events with kids, with veterans, with back to school, kids that have terminal illnesses or are incapacitated in some way where they can't leave their home. So he really goes out, and there's a variety of different things that you can support and get behind. And you don't have to fly out to Minneapolis. You could just go locally. He does a lot of things locally too in the Los Angeles area. So it's not very far from the South Bay. So we're so grateful to Yuri for him coming here. And one of the things that, he did bring out was he wears a costume because part of it is to shield his emotion and his tears, right? And that would be very difficult to go see a child in that situation and not get choked up. Yeah. But yet, so we're so grateful that Yuri was able to get out of that costume and really show us who he is. That episode 1 was very heartfelt. Yuri is not very outspoken, but he's still very powerful in what he says and does. So we thank you, Yuri, for being our guest. Definitely was an enjoyable experience. And we hope that everyone that saw it appreciated and liked it as much as we did. And hopefully it motivates you to do something. No pressure. Everyone can give support whatever they can. And whatever you can find in your heart, that's it. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But, not episode 2 definitely was just a completely different set of circumstances. But Jeff was nonetheless very much, one of the things that I thought about was Yuri and Jeff are so different.
Yeah. Right? Personally,
right.
Yeah.
They're very different. They've never met. Yuri's a little more soft-spoken, maybe perhaps a little more introverted. Jeff is a lot more outspoken. He's out in the public all the time, and he's just a different person. But what's so similar is their energy and their work.
Yeah.
The work is the same.
Their impact.
Impact is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jeff, that episode 2 just really, I didn't think it just kept taking several different turns, literally.
Yeah.
Physically, literally, and just every way you can think of.
I love that stuff. I love stories like that. Like, dude, totally like, okay, you want to read the cover? Cool. What's inside that book, when he spoke and he told us everything that he's doing, it's like, dude, I've never heard of this. Like, why? This is like the movie, what's that movie called? Carter? Where it was a basketball team.
Coach Carter.
Yeah. It literally is Coach Carter in real life down the street in Nickerson Gardens. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that this guy, I would have never, by the looks, I would have never thought. He told me about this soccer thing and I'm like, okay, soccer, okay, organization, okay. But it didn't click. And then once he starts telling us, it's like, whoa, I don't need to speak in this podcast. Like he's got so much to share and he did. Like, man, it had us going to Nickerson. It put our lives on the line. Real. I'm telling you, I've come from the hood too. And I've always thought that my skin color is kind of protect. I'm pretty much in my own head. I'm like, I'm cool in the hood, dude. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. Nah, I wasn't cool in this hood. We had an escort. They were like, there's no Mexicans allowed here to walk around freely. Like, what do you mean? And I'm here with the camera. Mm-hmm. Even worse, add insult to injury. Like now this is vulnerable. This is having a gun with no bullets. Like it's bad. Yeah. It's bad. It was, dude, I'm never going to forget this. I'm never going to forget us going there. I'm just not.
And for those who are listening and don't get to watch the audio, Jeff is in a lot more danger being in that neighborhood. We'll just say that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we were in danger for a few moments, a couple of hours, man. You know.
And this is their home. This is what they got to deal with every day. This was nothing. Nothing.
It was very eerie going in there. It was just there was no kids playing. Mm-hmm. You know, there's you see the places that kids should be at, right? There's sandboxes there. There's swings. There's basketball courts, handball courts. There's a baseball field, a smaller one, and those are some of the things that I just could remember. And no kids. It was empty. It was literally empty buildings. We learned from the podcast that they have to stay indoors, which is the motivation that Jeff, being aware and in tune with what was going on, asked one of the kids, "Hey, what do you guys want to do?" Because he saw that they can't come out. Mm-hmm. So, and then of course, Nick's Kids Soccer is created. And I mean, going down to the field that was donated to them by LAFC, the foundation, and the player, he's escaping
Acosta?
My name. Acosta.
Yeah.
Man, what a heart that gentleman has.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see. Like I started doing some research on it and I'm like, whoa, okay. Yeah. Like they actually care. I mean, they're celebrities, right? They don't have to do anything. They don't have to contribute. The majority of them don't, right? The majority of them don't, but this guy does. And he seems very involved. He shares our stories and I'm like, man, dude, okay, cool. Now I'm a fan of his. Like, all right, cool. I'll check you out.
100%. But so leading by example, being part of such a big organization like LAFC, and he, showing that there's kids that are watching him and that are fans of his, and he doesn't take that for granted. Yeah. And that's a wonderful act. Those are the kind of acts that, don't look at it from a monetary standpoint. Look at it from who he is, who he represents, and what he's willing to do with his platform. And that was very good to see that. And, Jeff, I mean, he talked about all of his weaknesses. He puts them out there, right?
That guy's remarkable, man.
But yeah, he still just powers through. I mean, he mentioned it in passing that he was going to go to a Laker game, after the podcast. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be at we got some tickets for the kids for the Laker game. And so, I reached out to him saying, thank you for being on the episode. And I was like, hey, when's that game? And I was curious. So he's like, oh, it's tomorrow. I reached out to him on Saturday and it was the following day. So I was like, oh man, okay. And I thought to myself, wow, he's really going to go out there with the kids. Sunday, day off.
Laker game,
right? Like, how did he pull that off? No way. I was like, all right. My curiosity just got the best of me. I was like, we need an image. We need a video. And then, I pitched the idea to you. You're not available. So I had to improvise. Running around, calling, texting people, texting my plug. Hey, man, can you get me some tickets? I need a couple of tickets last minute. Get me as close to section. He sent me the section. It was section 101 and section 111, I believe. He got a total of 7 tickets. So, I was able to connect with him at the game, and it was great. And he's really doing it.
He does so much of those things for them.
Yeah.
Like, he really is about bringing experiences to them. Like, he talks the talk, walks the walk. Like, he's relentless. He says, he's really goes to bat for the kids. He refers to them as his kids. It's not a like anything. He puts his heart and soul into these kids and to giving them the best possible life experience because yes, it's true. He wants to expose them to something outside of that where they live so that their perspective could broaden and they're like, maybe I want to do something else. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to go here. Like instead of joining a gang and getting into criminal activities, they're already seeing and meeting people that are doing different things that's gonna broaden their perspective. Just freaking again these guys, freaking Jeff. Jeff, so cool, man, so cool. In that field, he's just in control. Like he's not just teaching them techniques of how to get better, which they're freaking good. The kids are freaking really good. Not only is he telling them, showing them how to play better with him and all his coaches, but in the middle of that, he's dropping little gems. Little gems about life.
Oh wait, Jeff's coaching, gems. Right?
Yeah.
So he just didn't just start the organization.
Yeah, no, he's not just a standby from the outside looking in. No, he's deep in there. He's involved in everything with these kids. He takes it personal.
Yeah.
Like man, and he was there to the end. Yeah. So think about it. He worked his full shift, and then he goes and trains the kid for however long, and he doesn't stop taking phone calls. He's got 30, 40 kids. There's always an issue. There's always somebody in need. And not only does he help them, but he's motivated enough to get one more in, like you said, save one more kid. Like,
yeah, that was very impactful. One of the things he mentioned that he rather focus and make 100% impact on. He has 38 kids right now. He'd rather do a smaller number where he knows that he can have as full of an impact on them instead of having a larger number, 100 kids, and then not being able to give to each kid as much as he possibly can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just kind of gives you a little bit more insight as to just how deeply Jeff views these kids and how involved he is in their lives and how much he cares for them. I mean, he loves them. You could just see it, and then it was evident where on his days off, he's coaching, he's picking up, kids if they need to be picked up or coordinating. And on his days off, he's going to the Laker game, taking them to Laker games. And like you mentioned, sorry to have cutting you off, but during the practices, he's inserting little gems into their vocabulary, into their mind to help them get over perhaps a little obstacle that they may have on the field, that they may not be able to get a certain play or what have you. And I mean, he's really molding them for success in the future as adults. And you could see it, several of his kids have gone to college.
Yeah.
And not just bye and all right, well, thanks, Jeff, we're out of here. No, they come back. They were there. Roderick and Gabriel were a couple that we saw there. Unbelievable.
Volumes of really the real impact that Jeff has on these kids. Like,
definitely. So, these what these two episodes taught me, especially Yuri and Jeff, is that there's really no if you trust Eddie, if you trust myself, you trust Ike. We've really observed these individuals during the course of this podcast and having their expressions, being so close to them, being able to talk to them, and then going out and getting some content. We had some content already for Yuri from previous endeavors, but for Jeff, we wanted to go out and see personally exactly what it is that he's doing and where. Guys, both these gentlemen check every box. In fact, the boxes should be created for these two gentlemen because it really doesn't cover the whole scope of what they do and what they mean for these kids and the ripple effect that it's having in the communities. You guys are really onto something, Jeff and Yuri, and you can count on our support. Definitely. I think us three can say wholeheartedly that you have our support. So please continue to do the things that you're doing. And we're looking forward to your next endeavor because we know
we're having those guys back.
There will be.
There will be. Those guys back.
Definitely.
I think that's a comforting thought too. When you see these real superheroes, whether future superhero or Knicks Kid Soccer, like when you see real superheroes, like the episode 1 and episode 2, it doesn't feel like they're describing a bunch of tasks like this is something I decided to do, so I have to do this.
Yeah.
It's them. It's in their fabric.
Yeah.
So like we can feel a comfort that they won't be stopping anytime soon.
No.
And anytime you hit them up, they're going to be working on something for the kids or whatever. You know what I mean? And so that's that intangible. You know, it doesn't feel like they're having to complete tasks.
Yeah.
It's just what they do.
It's who they are.
Yeah, it's who they are.
Absolutely.
I feel privileged to have met them, to have talked to them for as long as we did, for them to share what they shared. I just know people don't even they don't have access to people like this. Like these are rare human beings, right? And all they want, they're going to do the work. All they want is just our support. So I hope everybody got the same thing out of it, or something different would be cool to, if you could share how it impacted you, that'd be, that we want to hear. We want to hear about that. And we're going to keep going. These are the type of people that we want to talk to, because I know they provide value to the community and to people. It might inspire them. It really is. So
definitely. Two outstanding members of our South Bay community, doing amazing things, not just locally in the South Bay, but in the nearby cities as well, extending the support and the love of the South Bay to other communities that are very close to our community. So we are, and then now we get to see what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that, again, both of these gentlemen are genuine, and they're very hardworking. And it was so inspiring to me to be around individuals like that, because we need more of them, like you mentioned. Yeah. And it's good to be around them, because good acts and acts of kindness is contagious. So I've been a part of a couple of their endeavors, and I look forward to the next one. So I think that's a wrap.
For sure. One more time, let me just cover episode 1. That's Yuri Williams on Instagram @afuturesuperhero. Right. And then episode 2, even though his name is Jeff, it's the Instagram is @NicksKidsSoccer. That's for Nickerson Gardens. And just in case we needed clarity on that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so the recap is a wrap.
Oh no, wrong one. There we go.